What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Premium Picks. Tonight, we're going to break down UFC Fight Night, Vicente Luque versus Rafael dos Anjos. We're going to give our early predictions and our breakdowns of the fight. Before we do, please like and please subscribe, and let's get right into this fight card. First fight of the night, we got Juliana Miller versus Luana Santos. Everybody knows Killer Miller is the Ultimate Fighter winner. She looked good on the show. She was taking girls down and beating them up, and she had that kind of Diaz brother style attitude. She had that don't give a fuck fucking girl. But you know what? She's kind of been exposed. She's not very strong. She's not very good. As soon as she faces a step up in competition, she got whooped. Now Luana Santos, she's fairly green as well. Like she's not super experienced. I wouldn't be super confident in this fight. At pick'em odds, I am going to take Santos to be the stronger girl, to be able to be the one who gets on top of Miller and to beat her up on the ground. That's what I think will happen. What do you think?
Well, they're both grapplers. It's like who's gonna invoke that strength? Like you said, Miller got pushed up pretty. Who was it again? Uh, Vanessa Demopoulos. Maybe that's the one that comes to mind. I can't remember.
She got killed against Hardy last fight.
Hardy,
Killed.
that's it. Well, it is Vanessa Demopoulos. I think it's Vanessa Demopoulos Hardy now. She's married to Dan Hardy or some shit like that. I believe so. Yeah, but she got pushed up, bullied. And that's I watched a lot of this Luana Santos tape because I like to fade debuting fighters. You know what I mean? But she's relentless with her wrestling from what I see in her previous fights, and she's always trying to ground the fight, right? And I know Miller's a good jiu-jitsu artist, probably has a triangle up her sleeve and whatnot. But you think that this girl here, who's a pretty good grappler herself, should be able to stay safe, get on top, like you said, ride her out. I do see this going longer. I think the grappling is probably gonna cancel each other out. It'll be more of a control fight than rather, but you never know. It's gonna be on the ground for a long time, and I feel like a submission's alive, but not very likely. I'm gonna pick Santos too because I think she's a bigger, stronger girl with the better top game. And I don't think Miller can get her down.
That's exactly. I'm thinking who I think's gonna be on top. I think she's much stronger.
Exactly.
All right, moving on. We got another women's fight. We got Montserrat Ruiz versus Jacqueline Amorim. Ruiz kind of does the same thing over and over and over, and yet girls seem to not be that good at stopping it. She almost likes to get you in this sideways head choke, like a schoolyard choke, trip you to the mat, and she likes to beat you up on the ground. Now, does she want to do that against Amorim? I don't know. Amorim is 6-1, 6 finishes, very, very explosive, great submission games, decent striking as well. She hits pretty hard. So it's tough. Amorim should be the more skilled fighter. She should be able to finish this fight. But in her UFC debut, she gassed so bad that I don't trust her. I think she's a minus 250 favorite. I don't like those odds. Don't get me wrong. Amorim should win. I think she's better everywhere, but she just gassed so bad that I will be scared if this hits the second and third round. Give me Amorim to get it done, but stay away. I wouldn't bet it. Or if you see her gassing and she's winning, maybe hit the dog late in the fight. I don't know, but it's a pass for me. But Amorim's the more skilled fighter. What do you think?
Agreed, Amorim, but I don't know about passing, to be honest here. I actually, everyone was so high on her the last time. So I think she might have built up an aura about herself. It's the first UFC fight. A lot of shit has happened like that to better fighters that have turned out to be better after their first fight in the UFC. And to see her highlights before she came into the UFC, to see that first round against Sam Hughes, and then to see her gas and get controlled by Sam Hughes, I cannot but think there's a little bit of an adrenaline dump there, and there's a little bit of jitters, and there's a little bit of not knowing the octagon or what you're going to be putting out. So I feel like if she has a good camp, these guys should know that, and they do have a good fighter. So minus 250 on a girl like Montserrat Ruiz, who is the female Brock Lesnar on Frank Mir on from UFC 100 in the Bulldog choke. I can't believe Cheyenne Vlismas couldn't get up from that for 3 fucking rounds.
It happens so many times.
Or I couldn't, that befall me. Amanda Lemos didn't even let her do it and knocked her the fuck out. I don't expect her to get knocked out, but I wouldn't put it past Amorim to knock her out. Montserrat Ruiz is not skilled at all. She should not be in this fight, to be honest with you. Amorim is the more skilled fighter. If that one cardio red flag sneaks up, it's the only thing. There's 9 other check marks on Amorim. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, moving on. I think we have a pretty sloppy heavyweight fight here. We got Josh Parisian versus Martin Buday. Buday is coming off a not very impressive win over Jake Collier. I remember I bet on him that fight, so he did win me money, but he didn't look good at all. Like, I was actually nervous watching that fight. I was like, what is this guy doing? He looked like shit. And then you got Josh Parisian, who's a kind of a pitter-patter point fighter himself. He not very good. The guy's lost to Dante Mays. Like, you got 2 guys here that are not good. I think I like the overs. I think this is going to be like a point fight on the feet. I feel like maybe I'm crazy. Like, I just see 2 guys that aren't the greatest finishers, aren't the greatest fighters. I think it's going to be an ugly fight to watch. Give me Martin Buday by decision. I think, but I don't know. I don't think it's going to be a fun one to watch. What do you think?
You took the words out of my mouth with the over. I think I'm not betting a side on this fight. I think Buday should probably outwork him, but this is going to be a grindy, sloppy wall stall. Both of them wall stall. Both of them just pitter patter with the punches. And Buday sometimes comes out with a little bit more urgency than Parisian. Pretty much how that goes. But I do see it going on. None of these guys have like one-hitter power, especially Parisian. Buday might get you. He's a big man. You never know. Parisian's shown durability in past fights still. So over 2.5 for sure. I feel like this goes to decision. I feel like this gets sloppy. It's very slow. It's not developing. We're not, none of these guys have power. None of these guys have a good ground game. So it's all wall and stall. Take Buday. Unhappily take Buday. But I will play the over though. Because I feel like it'll get heavyweight odded, if you know what I mean. So I think it's more of like it's more chance it goes over than it goes under. So like if I get anything better than 60%, which is pretty high, like minus 300, yeah, man, I feel like it's good. But that's high too. You should get minus 200.
Yeah. Wait for the props to drop, guys. Like he said, heavyweight fights, they usually think that, hey, they're heavyweight, someone's going to go down. I don't really think someone's going down here. So come back Thursday for our betting episode once the props are dropped, and we're going to recheck this fight. But we definitely like the overs. Moving on, we got Francis Marshall versus Isaac Dulgarian. Francis Marshall, very well-rounded kid, and you know what? He's super tough. When you look at his picture, you're like, oh, who's this little young kid, clean face, like looks like a child or whatever. He has dog in him. Like, he's a tough kid, very well-rounded. Like, I like him. He's a good fighter. And then you look at Dulgarian, there's not a ton of tape on him. He looks fantastic, 5-0. He looks like he's murking guys, but he's fought absolutely nobody. So it's so hard to know how he's going to look here, like against better competition. Now, don't get me wrong. Francis Marshall is not some huge title contender prospect or whatever, but he's tough. He's not just going to go down. So how is this going to go when this kid doesn't go away? I think this is another fight where I think I like the overs, to be honest. And I just think there's not enough tape for me to have confidence in a winner. So for right now, I like the overs. What do you think?
Well, Francis Marshall was touted as like this badass striker going into his last fight with, I think it was William Gomez, and he got out wrestled for the first 2 rounds. He was out controlled, out wrestled. But the last round is where you see that dog you're talking about. He knew he had to finish the fight. He went right after him, but he needed to have the IQ to do that a little bit faster. He did do that in Contender Series, so he needs to go after it a little bit earlier. Now, this Dulgarian guy, I believe he's 5-0, but he's fought absolutely no one, just like you said, right? So I don't know. Like, for all intents and purposes, I don't see how Dulgarian wins this against him, because Francis Marshall should be able to keep this off the ground. Plus, Dulgarian's never gone into a second round. Francis Marshall won is a hard-fought fight, 3 rounds that last split decision loss. He has UFC. He doesn't have those jitters. He's already has the experience, so everything points to it. Minus 160 could be a gift, but the red flag is you really don't know where you're getting in Dulgarian. He looks like a killer, but Marshall's not a puss. So like he's not just gonna like go down in the first punch. He might get knocked down, but this is the type of kid that come back right at you, right? So I don't know. He needs to extend this fight. Gets into the second round, he's gonna beat this Dulgarian guy, I think.
That's what I said. I like the over. I like the over 1.5 for sure.
Mm-hmm.
We'll reevaluate this one Thursday for sure. But yeah, it'll be interesting. Moving on, we got Terrence McKinney versus Mike Breeden. McKinney, every Terrence McKinney fight, we're going to say the same thing, guys. This guy is capable of finishing anyone quickly in spectacular fashion. Extremely, extremely explosive, but he's kind of got like a chicken heart. He's kind of got shitty cardio. He's kind of chinny. But honestly, the UFC really, really likes him. They're giving him this, like, all signs point to this should be a first round Terrence McKinney win. Like, I almost feel like minus 300. I don't like that. He's a finisher. So if you're going to pick him, you got to pick him by finish, get that extra points here. But he's always going to scare me. It's always going to scare me that he's going to get knocked out. And Mike Breeden hits hard, if anything. Is he good? No, but he does hit hard. So it's going to be scary, but Terrence McKinney is going to be the pick by first round finish. And like I said, McKinney's actually in the UFC, like in the UFC good books. They like him. I think this is like a setup fight to get him a win. He needs a win. They like him. They want to give him a win. So he's got to win this fight quick, in my opinion. What do you think?
I think the same thing. Honestly, though, like I think this is give me fight for him, to be honest. This Breeden guy gets knocked out by Alexander Hernandez and then goes to decision with Natan Levy. But Natan Levy hits like a pillow from one of those sheep fucking commercials. You know what I mean? Like and he's just going to control him on the ground. So if anything, this guy showed toughness. Yeah, but when McKinney gets to the ground, he doesn't. It's position. It's the submission over position all the time. He's balls to the wall. He had a good fight against his Saeed there, the last fight. It wasn't bad. It was actually better than the fight before that too. So, but he's always capable of showing something. So, minus 300 is high, but I think he wins this. The only way to do it is if you get plus money. McKinney first round finish. That'd be the only way I would play this. Minus 300 is tough because like parlaying that and you know he's going to go balls to the wall. It's so risky. So, I mean, I think he wins. I really do. I really do. I think this is a hand-fed fight.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. All right, moving on. We got Marcus McGhee versus JP Buys. These guys are straight up finishers. Like if you look at the records, they both finish like every single fight. So I like fight doesn't go the distance. I like under 2.5, maybe under 1.5. Or if you're confident on a side, pick that side by finish. For me, I like Marcus McGhee to get this done. I don't think he's great by any means, but neither is JP Buys. So give me McGhee by knockout. Not 100% sure yet if I'll be playing it or not. I think I will, but I'm gonna wait for those props to drop. Sorry. What do you think?
So JP Buys came in here like they thought he was like this badass wrestler, finisher kind of guy. Came in, stopped by Bruno Silva, stopped by Cody Durden in another fight. Montel Jackson's the only guy that never stopped him, and you think that guy's towering over him. In retrospect, he knocked him down like 7 times that fight too, right? So those aren't good looks against a finisher like McGhee. So against Journey Newsom, I thought McGhee had a chance, and Journey Newsom, I think, would beat the crap out of freaking. You know what I mean? So, and Marcus McGhee looked good. He took everything that Journey had, the wrestling, went after it, and then he ended up getting the finish at the end. Showed a lot of toughness, showed well-roundedness, showed a good ground game. So. All in all, I feel like the powers. So one thing JP Buys has shown is that has no chin. He's gonna get hit by McGhee. McGhee will fall him to the ground and just go berserk. And I don't think JP just quits. So yeah, this one's easy for me. I like McGhee, not because he's minus 400. I actually hate those odds, to be honest with you. But I like McGhee as the fighter to beat JP Buzz, the fighter. So,
and like I said, if you look at his record, all but one of his wins are by knockout. So I think you wait for that prop, and you're choosing inside the distance here. I think.
well,
If
you
you're gonna,
gotta improve on -400, right?
of
You're
course.
not gonna have this. Isn't gonna be like the base of all parlays for the weekend or bets, right? It'll be a part, but it's not. It's not that plausible to see JP buys. The only person he lasted against was Montel Jackson, and Montel has a tendency to play with his food sometimes, right? So whatever. Montel learned from that he had to finish guys. So JP is probably done for the night.
Yeah,
KO'd
yeah.
at some point.
I agree. All right, moving on to the main card. If you haven't already, please like and please subscribe. First fight of the main card, we have Josh Fremd versus Jamie Pickett. I don't know what it is with giving Jamie Pickett wrestlers here. He's going to get wrestle fucked once again. Josh Fremd is pretty relentless with the takedowns. I know some people like to say, oh, Bo Nickel kind of struggled to get him down. He had to nut shot him or whatever. Bo Nickel was going to take him down. Like that, like, come on. Jamie Pickett is always going to have chance for a knockout. He does have heavy hands. He does have a lot of knockout wins. And I mean, Josh Fremd isn't great either. But one thing Fremd is he's kind of relentless with those takedown attempts. So even if he doesn't get the takedown, I still think he's going to be sticking to him like glue. He'll at least, if he can't get him down, he'll get him against the cage. He'll wear him against the cage. He's eventually going to get him down. I think he's just the quicker, better, younger athlete, I think. So give me Josh Fremd. I don't think he's going to necessarily like do anything spectacular or do anything quick. So as the week goes on, I'll think about what props I like maybe an over or something. I don't know what I like here, but I do like Josh Fremd to get this done. What do you think?
I like him to get it done. I don't like the -334 attached to his name though. And I don't know what's going to happen when the props drop. But before I would be like, oh, Jamie Pickett, yeah, he's durable. No, he's not that durable. The last 3 fights he's been finished. And I was like, oh, he's just a generalist. He knows how to stay safe. Nope, not true. So I don't know what Jamie Pickett really does well. He lost to Tefon, who's later on in this card. I thought he just let Tefon, a guy that doesn't control the pace and everything, control the pace. Right. So, and he always lets his counterpart control the pace. Now, Fremd wasn't looking so good in the UFC until he went up against Dumbass there in that last fight, right? And yeah, I gave him a veteran lesson there, Dumbass. And worked him pretty hard for that guillotine. But people jumping guillotine just irk me sometimes. But anyway, he was gonna win that fight. He was controlling that fight. I see almost the same thing here. It's just Jamie Pickett. I can't pick anything that he does well. At least Fremd is relentless, has a decent ground game. Fought for championships in other promotions as well. I don't think Jamie Pickett's ever fought for a championship in another promotion. And if I did, I'm sorry. I didn't research that. I'm just making an educated guess. All right. I apologize if he has fought for something regionally somewhere, but he's just not at that level. Fremd is a fringe guy, but I think better. -334 stinks, though.
Stinks. All right, moving on. We actually, one of the guys you were just talking about, we got Tefon nchukwi versus AJ Dobson. For me, this fight is super hard to predict or super hard to be confident. I mean, they're both hit pretty hard. I mean, the odds suggest it's very close, and I think it's very close. So I no confidence in this pick whatsoever. I think Dobson might be quicker. I don't know. And Nchukwi might have the striking advantage, but maybe Dobson's just a little bit quicker of an athlete. Give me Dobson, zero confidence whatsoever. I just think maybe he lands, maybe, like I said, maybe a little bit quicker, but no confidence whatsoever in this fight. Do you feel good about this fight? What do you think?
Yeah, not great, but so Dobson gets Jacob Malkoun in his first fight, a better wrestler than him or a better ground guy than him. Okay, fine. I see Jacob Malkoun's, he has one way of winning, and if he's able to employ that plan, he wins. Okay, fine. Armin Petrosian, a fighter with great takedown defense and better striking than Dobson. So this guy's already fought pretty hard guys. He went the distance with both those guys, showed that he's tough enough to go with both those guys. But Dobson by trade is a wrestler, wants to get the fight to the ground. Can get Petrosian down, and he went up against a better wrestler grappler than Malkoun. Tafan now lost to Carlos Solberg, knocked the fuck out. Asmat knocked the fuck out. But in his defense, he was winning that fight. Asmat couldn't take him down, and Tafan controlled both the first and the second round. But he still found a way to lose. Beats Mike Rodriguez, whoopity doo Mike Slow Rodriguez, and then loses to Jung Young Park. So Tafan could be worked, right? So like, I don't see. To be honest, I don't think we have seen the best of Dobson. He went up against superior competition. One guy that was better at than the thing he does, right? So that's tough. And then one guy who stopped the thing he does best and can outstrike him, right? So I think this is a little bit closer matchup. The plus money against Dobson is really intriguing, especially since I think he's the better grappler. So I'm going to go with the better grappler. I usually pick the grappler over the striker. And Tafan just sheer doesn't throw enough volume to control a match, to be honest with you. Dobson should try to make this grimy, take him down and up against the wall, outstrike him there. So that's what I think. I'm with you on this. I think Dobson. But I do feel a little bit more strongly than just a shot in the dark. I think he's the controlling guy in this fight. And if Tafan has the takedown defense, then maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think so.
I just think Dobson's actually quicker, to be honest.
I do. I think so too. But I don't think he's going to prolong striking with him, right? You run that risk, but I think he's going to mix it in, like you said. Mix in everything. He's the more well-rounded guy.
All right, moving on. We got Polyana Viana versus Eisman Lucindo. I mean, to a degree, this is kind of grappler versus grappler. Lucindo isn't so much a submission grappler, but she likes to get it down and beat you up on the ground. She sometimes loses position. She gets a little bit reckless, but she's pretty good at finishing the fight on the ground too. Like she's only 21 years old, and so it's not shocking that she's a little bit reckless. Not shocking that she loses those positions, but she's good. She's really good. Polyana Viana, 10 years older, 31 years old, a lot of submissions. But I don't think she's going to tap out Eisman Lucindo here. I mean, obviously, Viana looked pretty good in the striking last fight, but she's still not a striker. I think it was just a one-off. So I don't think this is really going to be some prolonged striking bout. I think there's going to be a lot of takedowns, a lot of scrambles, a lot of who's going to be on top. And I think Lucindo will be the younger, stronger, ground and pound. Like I said, I don't think I see his submissions so much, I don't think. But I don't know. I like Lucindo here. I'm not sure what the odds are, to be honest, but I think I like Lucindo by ground and pound, more control time, being the one on top. What do you think?
Lucindo's minus 188, which isn't terribly bad because I agree with you on this one. So Vienna, let's start with her. So she has a lot of submissions, yes, but those are a lot of submissions off her back too, eh? So it's like she's catching girls that take her down and beating them that way. Submission armbar. They're all armbar from guard. And the KO was Jinyu Fry. She was fried. She was over 40-year-old woman fighting in like straw weight. So like, or whatever this is. I can't remember. But anyway, she's a 40-year-old woman almost, or is. No, man, those don't count. And anytime she got tested, when she got taken down, she accepted being on her back. And if the person on top could not get subbed, they would easily win that fight, right? And I feel that's how this fight goes. Veronica Hardy did it. Hannah Cyphers did it. Like, you know what I mean? So JJ Aldridge did it. We know good JJ Aldridge is, everybody. Tabitha Ricci did it. Shout out to Tabitha. I like her.
You love her.
Yeah.
Baby Shark.
Her. Yep, I love Tabitha Ricci too. All right. But aside from that, Lucindo now, she, like you said, 21 years old. You can see that in her first fight, it looks like a bad loss now against Yasmin Uruguay. But the problem is, I feel like her fight IQ wasn't there. She didn't grapple enough for my liking in that fight. She could have grappled more. And you see that in her next fight, she made improvements. Not only was she beating Brogan Walker standing up, she knew she was beating her. I think she could have probably knocked her out because Brogan Walker's so dumb coming forward with her head down. But she took her down, beat her up there too, let her up, get up, did a little striking, held her down, showed good grappling, showed good control. Fight IQ is getting up. So I think that's where she wins out here. Polyana Viana, she gets taken down. Her fight IQ should be use my jiu-jitsu to get up, but she accepts that position way too much for my liking. Lucindo, has to guard against the armbar from guard. But if she doesn't get armbar from guard, she's the minute winner, and she should kill Viana in this fight with control.
Yeah. You made one comment about it's not looking like a good loss or whatever to
Uruguay,
Urogi or whatever.
Yeah.
Just because Urogi got starched last fight by the little Denise Gomez or whatever.
Yeah.
Yasmin Urogi is a very good fighter.
She's a very good striker.
Very good striker. And Lucindo didn't get knocked out. She went 3 rounds. It wasn't a bad look for a kid to hang there with a good striker.
Right, so, exactly. And then that's where fight IQ got. She upped it up the next game. I think if she put a little bit more grappling on Uruguay and showed a little bit more toughness in the grappling realm, she'd have probably beat her. Yeah. It was close. That fight was close.
Yeah, I like Lucindo here big time.
Me too.
Unless she falls into a submission, she's winning this fight.
Me too. I like her. I shouldn't be this high on a women's fight, but I think she's got her beat all over the place.
Yeah, for sure. All right, moving on. We got the featured fight. I think this is going to be one of the fun ones. We got Khalil Rountree versus Chris Daukus. I believe this is Daukus coming down to the light heavyweight division. This was scheduled, I feel like a month or 2 ago. Something happened. I don't know why it got canceled. I think somebody got sick or something. I don't know. I forget, but whatever. This is rescheduled. We haven't seen Chris Daukus at light heavyweight yet. Chris Daukus showed some good hands at heavyweight. He scored a bunch of knockouts, and then he went on a very bad streak where he was getting chinned every fight, but it was Derek Lewis, Curtis Blades. I'm not sure who else it was, but I think it was 3.
It was 3.
Yeah.
It was 3. You were right. And it was Jorginho Rosenstruck.
Yeah. So, I mean, 3 very, very big, heavy-hitting heavyweights knocked him out. So he's moving down. Maybe he's thinking, hey, I'm not going to get knocked out moving down to the smaller guys. Unfortunately, Rountree does hit very hard as well. So it's not going to be much easier here. Now, Rountree, I think if Rountree wins, I think it's by knockout. And he has to mind that gas tank. He's had a lot of cardio issues in the past. It has looked better. Last few fights, it's looked a little bit better. But he is known for mid-fight, huffing. He huffs. He throws everything into every shot. But when you do that, if you don't get the guy out of there, you're in trouble. So Chris Daukus has a chance with his hands. I'm not sure what the odds are here, but I like somebody to get knocked out here. I think somebody's going down. Rountree's the more well-rounded striker. He mixes in the kicks. He's looking better. He appears to be better than ever, whereas Daukus seems to be this is do or die for him here. I do think Daukus has a chance, but it's hard to pick him here. I think you almost have to pick Rountree. What do you think?
On the gas tank issue, he did go 3 rounds and was fighting to the end against Justin Jacoby in his last fight. And because he still had a gas tank at the end, he put together a pretty good last 30 seconds to a minute in that fight and pretty much stole the fight that I thought he fucking lost in anyway, right? So, but that's if he was in his usual huffing puffing ways, there's no chance he would be able to steal that last round from Dustin Jacoby there. So yeah, I feel like he turned a little bit of a corner because he has his last 3 wins. I mean, they're not terribly amazing. Modestas Bukowskis, knockout to that's where he broke his knee or something, remember? And with that kick to the knee that John Jones won. Carl Roberson, whatever. Yeah. And Dustin Jacoby still could win. I feel Dustin Jacoby is underrated and he's still a good fighter. So that's a good win. But he's showing improvements to Khalil Rountree. And now my biggest thing with Daukus is this. Coming down from heavyweight. What was his biggest advantage at heavyweight? Because he was a small heavyweight. His biggest advantage was his speed, right? So coming down to 205, light heavyweight, I feel like that speed advantage is non-existent. If anything, Khalil probably might be the faster striker here. He's definitely just as powerful striker as Daukus is himself. So that advantage that he had over all those heavyweights, he doesn't have at light heavyweight. He was never a wrestler. And yeah, so how is he going to win this fight? He has to outstrike Khalil Rountree. I think Khalil Rountree has way more variety. He hits harder, and he's going to be faster. I don't terribly like the odds at minus, I think it's like 250 or something like that. But I think it's fair. I think at this spot, Khalil Rountree should win. I don't know about the TKO. I think it's going to be a TKO because I think daukus is going to. I have never seen him go 3 rounds, so that's never going to happen, right? So I'm going to go down here.
All right. I think it should be a fun one. It's going to be one of the more exciting fights on the card, I think. Moving on, we got the co-main event. We got Cub Swanson, and I can't believe he's still fighting, to be honest, versus Hakeem Dawodu. So me and Hakeem, very good striker, good fighter. He puts on underwhelming performances. I feel like every time he's in there, he should do more. He should impress. He never impresses for like the hype behind him. That being said, this is the spot to do it. Like he should be able to fucking drop Cub Swanson. If he can't, me and Hakeem is not as good as people think he is. If he doesn't get a finish here, I don't think it's a good look for me and Hakeem. Cub Swanson, obviously a veteran of the sport. He has finishing power. He's got some good finishes himself, but I don't want to say he's a quitter, but he when he loses, it's usually by finish. He's a quick tapper. He gets caught in a lot of chokes. I've seen him drop by body shots. I feel like when Swanson loses, he gets finished. So like this is Hakeem's chance to finally fucking do something impressive here. He's in the co-main event. He's never going to co-main again. So I think he needs to get a finish here. I'll give him one more chance. Give me Hakeem by TKO. And if he doesn't do it, I don't know. Put him back on the prelims. What do you think?
Cubs 39 at 135 pounds. That's not good for those lower weight classes, I'll tell you that much. So his speed should be all Hakeem Dawodu. And then, but me, Hakeem here, man, lost to Julian Erosa, beat Mike Trezano, lost to Mavsar, okay, beats Zabir Tukagugov, beats Julio Arce, that's a good win. Beats Horis, beats Buchanek, or whatever his damn name is. But he's like, these are all decisions, and except for the Mori fight where he took till the 3rd round to beat an inferior opponent. You know what I mean? These are decisions, split decisions. Why the fuck are these split decisions, Hakeem?
Did he fight Caceres?
No, maybe earlier. I didn't go that far back.
Okay, no, I'm wrong.
No,
okay.
He didn't fight Caceres.
Okay.
He has a draw with Marat Magomedov, which is not bad, I guess. But anyway, these fights against inferior opponents, like a Zubir Tukogov, a split decision win, like Julio Arce, I don't know, but at least Julio Arce has some good striking. Lost to Mavsar, like a decision against. He's just, the underwhelming part about it is the volume. He always stands back. He's not throwing enough. Okay, I'll tell you this one thing. You have this right. Cub, I don't think can go 3 rounds. Not a fucking chance. So Cub, he comes into these fights and he wants to go, and he wants it to go, and whatever Cub gives you, right? And is Hakeem ready for that? I don't know. People don't go after him. Julian Erosa is like a ground guy, whatever you want to call him. And then Trezano doesn't go after anyone. Mavsar is a control artist. Zubira Tugugov always so slow. Julio Arce is a counter striker. Like there's no one in this list that has gone after him. You know what I mean? And I feel like Cub is a vet of the sport, and he knows how the only way to win this is to go after him. I'm going on Cub. Cub by inside the distance. I'm gonna sprinkle it because I have no backbone to back Hakeem Dawodu in this spot. I think he's gonna win, but Cub's gonna push the action, and I don't know how Hakeem's gonna answer to that push. That's it.
Going with the old guys. Hey, I love, full disclosure, I love what I always root for the old veterans, always. Unfortunately, I feel like more times than not, they don't come through. But hey, man, nothing wrong. Like I said, I don't like me and Hakeem at all. Like, no. I think he's very, very underwhelming. So we'll see. All right, moving on. We got the main event of the card. We got Vicente Luque versus RDA. Rafael dos Anjos, former lightweight champion, moving up to the welterweight division. He's been here for a while now, and he's looked pretty good. He dominated Neil Magny. Who did he fight last?
Brian Barberena.
Oh yeah, I tapped him real quick, I believe, first or second round, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Vicente Luque, I liked him for a long time. I still do like him, but I like him because he's dangerous. He finishes fights, but he's kind of slow. And last fight, like, he got whooped by Jeff Neal. Jeff Neal was much faster. I think it was one of Jeff Neal's best performances. So he ended up knocking out Luque late in that fight. And then Luque wasn't cleared. They found something on his brain, some kind of like brain hemorrhage or something was wrong. He had to take a year off. He had to do additional CAT scans and stuff for this fight. He is cleared, but I mean, you never like hearing that kind of stuff. Luque, very good with the chokes, but I don't think you're going to choke RDA. RDA is a very seasoned grappler himself, so I don't think Luque is going to land that choke that he likes to get. So that leaves Luque with his heavy hands. And yes, he does have heavy hands, but he's not the fastest guy, and he kind of comes forward in straight lines. I just RDA is very seasoned. I think RDA is a very underrated fighter. I think he's a great fighter. I think in this particular fight, he's probably going to be best suited to get in close, maybe grind him against the cage, maybe get a takedown and work from there. But he is well-rounded enough that he should be okay anywhere this fight goes. I mean, does he really want to get in a boxing match with Luque? I don't think so. But I mean, if he struggles to get a takedown or two, I don't think it's the end of the world for him. Very tough fight to call. I think the odds are pretty much a pick. I'm here, but I'm going to go with the more well-rounded, more accomplished fighter. Give me RDA. But like, no issues with anyone taking Luque. I think if you're on the Luque side, he's a finisher. So I don't see Luque winning too many decisions. So if he's going to win, he's probably going to finish him. But I don't think he's going to finish RDA. So give me RDA. Sorry for my rant. What do you think?
I know about that stuff for Luque, and I think it'll show a little bit of ring rust. And to be honest with you, like, I feel like not the last loss to Jeff Neal that he got completely dominated. The Bilal Muhammad loss is what this fight might look like. You know what I mean? Bilal Muhammad, RDA, same sort of game plan they come out with, right? Mixing in the striking with the wrestling. RDA actually has some striking, so he might strike a little bit more with Luque. Luque shown toughness in the past, but I feel like RDA is a more well-rounded fighter. He might be a little bit small in this fight, but who knows, right? He came up. He looked pretty good against these other guys, so give me RDA. Take him down a little bit. I don't know if he's going to finish him. He's not a notorious finisher, so give me RDA. Give me RDA by decision. Just the better, well-rounded, better grappler, better wrestler in this fight. I know Vicente Luque has a black belt, but whatever.
Yeah, I know. And honestly, the money line's so tight or so close that I don't even think you really need a prop here, to be honest. Like, I don't think, but I mean, Bilal Muhammad, obviously, like, as you mentioned, he took down Luque time after time and after time again to sweep the scorecards there. And RDA is a better grappler than Bilal. I mean, he's not a better wrestler, but he's a better grappler. Like, so if he gets him down, I think he'll have more control time. He might not get the takedown as easy, but I think he will better control once it hits the mat. But yeah, I like RDA here, just like you said. Any last thoughts?
Nah, man. I think this one's pretty cut and dry.
Okay, guys, if you're new to this channel, Thursdays, we always do an updated betting episode where we give you a bet for every fight on the card. So be sure to tune in Thursday for all our bets. I think the props come out Wednesday. So by then we'll have the props, we'll have our updates, we'll do our due diligence on a couple fights where, you know, maybe we should look into a little bit deeper. Please like, please subscribe. If you have any strong leans, if you have anything that you might know that we don't know, drop us a comment. Let's talk about it. We appreciate it. And we'll see you Thursday.